Houston Rockets, major trade last night. Russell Westbrook for John Wall and a protected 2023 first round pick.
Breaking
Jordan texted me. We were I don't remember what was going on. It was the end of the workday, and I got a text from Jordan that said, "Holy Woj bomb." And you didn't like the trade at first, Jordan. My initial reaction was great. John Wall's cool. We got a first round draft pick.
John Wall.
Russell Westbrook was going to be gone anyway. He wanted to get out. It seemed like that relationship was over.
Yeah.
My initial reaction was I like the trade, but I know at first you weren't too excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, the guy hasn't played basketball in 2 years. So that was my initial reaction why I wasn't too excited about it off the bat, just because he hasn't played organized basketball or professional basketball the last 2 years. So he's been injury prone. And then also he's a very similar player to Russell Westbrook. You know, they're both flashy, speedy guys that can run past the defender and don't have the greatest jump shot. So I'm like, okay, so you traded for basically I'm not going to say basically, but a very similar player that hasn't played basketball in 2 years. So that's why I was a little bit upset at first. But the more and more I think about it, they do have different style of basketball that they play, and or styles of basketball that they play, and then also John Wall's 2 years younger, and then like you mentioned, we got a first round pick out of it. And the thing about that first round pick that gets me excited, it's in 2023 because anything's possible because LeBron James's son is going to be draftable that year. So hey, who knows? Maybe in 2023, Bronny James will be a Rocket. And then, if Bronny James gets drafted by the Rockets, then LeBron's going to get or signed for the Rockets.
LeBron will still be playing. I'm sure he'll still be putting up 25 points and 12 rebounds and 15 assists a game at that point.
Yeah, I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, dude, like I just have to process it. I'm like, damn, like I heard about the Russell Westbrook to John Wall rumors in the past, and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm a big time Brody fan. I just like him as a personality. And I mean, I respect John Wall, but I mean, it's kind of sad to see Brody go. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, it was clear that James Harden and him, yes, they were boys, but they didn't play well on the court together. There's different styles of basketball, and they both are ball dominant players. So I think John Wall now, like, he's going to be a lot more of a playmaker, where hopefully he'll know his role, man. Where it's like, hey, like, I can't shoot the ball 30 times a game, but if I can put the ball in the other playmakers' hands on the Rockets. And then average 12 to 13, hopefully assists a game, where it's a win-win situation. And also you got his boy Boogie back, like Boogie and John Wall, like back in the Kentucky days, that was a solid combination. So, I mean, I'm excited if both those guys can stay healthy, then anything's possible, but it's a big if, man, a big if, because he hasn't played basketball in 2 years.
They're both coming off Achilles injuries. I was watching a YouTube video last night. I was just reading around about the trade, and man, you can talk about going on down some rabbit holes on YouTube. There's so many just people out there commentating. I found this guy I never heard of before, Mike Korzemba. He's got 1.65 million subscribers, and his video that he posted was the real reason the Rockets won the Russell Westbrook John Wall trade. And so I watched this video. It's about 9 minutes long, which I'm looking at here on my phone. And the one thing that he said in this video, this guy analyzes the NBA. He posts like 2 or 3 videos a day. Pretty impressive content creation, actually. One thing that he pointed out, and that I've been seeing, around some other places that is really encouraging to me, you see some clips of John Wall playing this summer, some of the workouts, or I guess this fall, not this summer, but some of like the pickup games are going on. And Kevin Durant was quoted a couple times as saying John Wall looks amazing. He looks really great. John Wall gave a quote that said something like he played the last couple of years he did play. He had bone spurs that he was playing through. He hasn't been healthy since then. Now, guys are always, when they're coming back off injuries, I worked for the Texans for 6 years, and we wrote about guys coming off injuries a lot. Everybody always looks better than they ever have, feels better than they ever have. But you hear him saying it's the best and healthiest he's been. And you look at some of his highlights, like, dude, John Wall's highlights are sick. And I mean,
Westbrook, so like, they're both.
That's fine. That's fine. We're moving on from Russell Westbrook right now. John Wall, like, I mean, the handles are out of control. And like, just watch some of his Wizards highlights or watch some stuff from Kentucky. I am excited about, who knows, with Boogie DeMarcus Cousins and him. Their Achilles injuries are notoriously some of the hardest to come back from. But I think the Rockets were going to have to get rid of Russell Westbrook. He was gone. It was clear that James Harden and Russell Westbrook were not going to be able to coexist anymore. Even though James Harden has requested a trade, wants to go to the Nets, as reports say, the Rockets, everybody's saying they're going to try and hold on to him. They're going to try, and use their leverage and keep him. They made some good moves we just talked about in the last episode of the podcast. In free agency, getting John Wall, if it works out, the fact that you're able to get him and a first-round draft pick for Russell Westbrook, I think, is a big win. And like you said, back to Westbrook, he did play some of the best basketball of his career last year for a while during the season. During the playoffs, he was coming off that injury. I think he had COVID as well. He wasn't at his peak. It didn't seem like performing at 100%. It's another star that James Harden forced a trade for or brought down, and then got him out of town.
Like, is it James? Like I don't know, man. But like at the same time, I don't agree with what he wasn't playing the best basketball of his career, Russell Westbrook. The dude,
some of the best.
I mean, he played.
Look it up.
This ball. He's playing some good basketball, but at the end of the day, he was nothing close to where he was when he was an MVP. And was it 2017 or 2016, whatever year it was? But that, and then on top of that, man, like in the playoffs, like it was frustrating at times. Like I said, I love Russell as a person, as his brand and Brody, but like the guy like forgot how to dribble at times, man. And like he would lose the ball on a fast break and it'd just be a turnover. And also he had a couple of turnovers where he would just pass it and like it would be nowhere close to anybody and go way out of bounds. It's like, what was that, Russ? I mean, there were some questionable times with Russell Westbrook last year, especially in the clutch in the postseason where it just didn't work out. But like the James Harden factor of how he's literally scared away two different stars between Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook. I mean, it's questionable, man. And also on top of that, like the fact that him and Russ were boys before, I mean, I don't know if they're close still now, but it's just like they were homies. And now, now James is like, oh yeah, I'd rather John Wall than Russell Westbrook. But like all day yesterday was the media day for the Rockets. I'm like, where's Russ? Where's James? None of them were there. I was like, okay, are they reporting? Then the trade happened. I was like, okay, well, Russ probably didn't show up. And that was a cherry on the top. We're like, okay, we're going to trade him. And then today, James Harden didn't show up. So it's like, what's going to happen? But it made me feel better when I found out that James Harden is opening up a restaurant in Houston. So,
maybe he's hosting a job there.
Yeah.
For his restaurant. But yeah, it is good that he's opening a restaurant. Maybe they'll stick around. And I think as you mentioned, he is a part owner of the Houston Dynamo, the Dynamo FC, the recently rebranded Dynamo FC. So, he's got some roots here. It seems like he's going to be around, and I'm excited about the prospect of those guys playing together. I think that John Wall as a point guard seems like, even though they're very similar, I mean, it is crazy some of the similarities between he and Westbrook, including their salaries. It was, I think Westbrook was 3 years, 133 million left, and John Wall was 3 years, 132 million. They're basically both disgruntled, both wanted out of their teams, and it was the only match that could have made sense. I mean, a lot of people were criticizing these trades. I saw ESPN gave a bad trade to both teams. The Rockets got like a C+, the Wizards got like a D or something like that. I mean, I think Russell Westbrook's going to be a lot of fun to watch in Washington, D.C. And I feel like I'm optimistic about this trade. I think the Rockets are surprisingly making a lot of good moves right now. And this, I think, counts as one of them. And I think if nothing else, we got a first-round draft pick. And I know that it's a protected pick. There's a lot of protection on it. The NBA rules on draft pick protections are pretty wild the more you read them. But an asset is an asset. And you tweeted this at me yesterday. A lot of people did. I think that, it doesn't matter. The Rockets never hold on to first-round draft picks. They're going to trade it anyway. If that's the case, then great. There is a premium on first-round draft picks among Houston sports organizations. We don't have a lot of them because we trade them all away. And I think it's still hard to believe how much Daryl Morey gave up in that trade Chris Paul, 2 first-round draft picks, 2 pick swaps to the Thunder to get Russell Westbrook. So the fact that we got 1 first-round draft pick back and we got a guy who's 2 years younger, who is one of the best point guards in the NBA if he's healthy.
Big if.
And has that Boogie John Wall dynamic is, I think, going to be one of the most. It feels like we're all going to be disappointed by it, and coming off 2 Achilles injuries, what are the odds of them being who they were? But I'm optimistic, man. I saw Boogie post something on his IG story that he was training, I think, at O Athletic today or yesterday. He's working hard, man. He's climbing the hills. I think this Rockets team is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And a couple weeks ago, we were on the dumps. Harden was leaving, Westbrook was leaving. I'm feeling optimistic now. Is it enough to compete with the Lakers and some of the other juggernauts? I don't know, but if you got James Harden, who's going to be a top 3 or top 5 player in the NBA no matter what, and these other pieces fall into place, I think the Rockets are going to be a lot of fun to watch this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely enticing. Like, you look at the potential starting 5, and we talked about this in the last episode, and it's promising. And now you throw John Wall instead of Russell Westbrook in there, and it's exciting. But it's a big if. I'm like, it just really depends on what John Wall you're getting, man. If you get John Wall pre-injury, that's amazing. But I was talking to Jackson about this the other day or yesterday, and like, we might be getting like the Derrick Rose version now. Like, D Rose, like, he was one of the most electric point guards in the league, and won an MVP and balled out, youngest MVP in the league history, and then went through 2 ACL surgeries. And ever since those ACL surgeries, he hasn't been the same, but he's still been a productive NBA player. I think last year he averaged like 18 points a game, and still had a decent year, but like, he has, or probably never will be, as effective as he was before those injuries. So we'll see. But I just hope it doesn't come to that where, you watch John Wall this year and he clearly isn't the same player. But I'm optimistic too as well. And if he is the same player as what he was before, and is a facilitator and is quick and he can be electrifying and get us some buckets, but also know when it's time to pass it to James or pass it to Christian Wood or pass it to PJ, EG, whoever's open, man. Like, it can be good, man. So it's just a time will tell. Fortune, man. Yeah.
Time will tell, but I like the trade. I think they did what they could, and I'll say that so far into this tenure of the new general manager, Raphael Stone, and our new coach, Mr. Silas, I think these guys are off to a good start, or as good as could be that you could expect, given all the extenuating circumstances happening right now. So. Yeah, man, I like the trade. First round draft pick again is big to me, and we'll see. I think the Rockets are giving us at least some hope for this season. It's not all hope is not lost in Houston sports just yet. We still got some things to hang on to, and I think the Rockets are making things intriguing this year.
Yeah, you're looking at a playoff team now. Like, before, I was like, I don't know, but
well, they're going to make the playoffs with Westbrook. What are you talking about?
With the chemistry, with a bad chemistry, man, you never know, man. You never know. West keeps on getting better. But no, we would have made the playoffs, but like, at the same time, I don't think we would ever have been a contender with the same squad.
Yeah. I think there's a higher ceiling. There's a higher ceiling now for the Rockets.
Yeah, definitely higher ceiling with the Boogie.
There's a lower floor. There's a lower floor for sure, but there's also a higher ceiling, and I think that upside is what's exciting. So that's all I got for today's bonus podcast. Jordan, anything else you want to add?
Hey, man, I like this extra credit. And today, I don't know how I found this, but I'm going to bring it out with the championship Houston Astros ring. John Wall, what do you need to do, man? Get us one of these things. If you bring us a ring, then I'll do the John Wall all day, baby. Let's go. The John Wall. But welcome to Houston, seriously, John Wall. Like, I'm excited to see what you can do. I hope you can stay healthy. And, let's get it,
And
man.
we got Gerald Green back.
Gerald Green, Houston legend. His press conference excited, man. Like he's just like, I love Houston. I literally got it tatted all over me. I'm like, that's home. And that got me pumped, man. I'm like, yep, welcome back, Gerald Green.
Well, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube. We'll post this video up there as well. Welcome to Houston, John Wall. I guess we'll see you again sometime, Russell Westbrook, and wish you the best of luck in Washington. And that'll do it, Jordan. We'll talk next week, and we'll see what's going on, man. It's been a crazy last few weeks out here.
Yeah, and then congratulations to the Houston strip clubs. Y'all gonna be having some fun with John Wall and James Harden in the same city.
Congratulations.
John Wall.